dogs who are pulling my hair because their teeth should reach gold.
Christine and the Queens is probably the best known working name of Eloise Adelaide Letizier, who was a French singer and songwriter, who also has used the names Redcar and Chris, and Sam Le Pompier, which is French for Fireman Sam, and Rahim and Full Stop. He is known for having a complex identity, and especially in the area of gender identity. He's released 4 albums, the first in 2014. Hi, my name's Dan. So this was the first album by Christine and the Queens, and it's my first encounter with him, and so therefore with this album, although I have heard of him before. So he's more known for his gender and identity things than for his music, possibly. So I'm just going to drop in a couple of thoughts. I really don't want to get drawn into a whole load of stuff about gender identity and the current conversation on that, which there seems to be quite a lot going around. But I just want to drop a couple of things in. First one is that since rock and roll, popular music has always challenged societal norms and always been at the cutting edge of making those challenges. So it's no surprise in a world where gender identity is becoming the issue or to tackle at the moment, that this has found its way into popular music and other art forms as well, of course. And the other one is that he has stated, so this is Christian and the Queens, has stated that he is in resistance to the approach of trans identity, that there has to be hormones and operations. And I think I would say that I'm kind of behind the idea that it's probably better to tackle this in a identity manner than in a biological manner. Obviously, different people have different situations. So that's as far as I'm going to go on that, and I'm just going to talk now about the music. So I would describe this as pop. Quite definitely. There are synths and other sounds, quite a lot of stuff going on here. It doesn't sound like a lot of 2000s pop, which has kind of got this R&B bass and stuff that, when I've done reviews in the past, I haven't liked. This sounds more like a blend of kind of using some of the production techniques from 2000s and sounds from the 2000s, but the actual music itself is more like 80s pop. So there are a few things that it does and doesn't do that makes it better in my ears than a lot of current pop. So the first is it's not very stop-start like a lot of it is, a lot of the current stuff. So it's more constant in the kind of get a groove and it keeps going. And it doesn't have tinny drum sounds. There's a lot of music at the moment that seems to use the very kind of high hi-hatty or very high snare sounds and done quite fast. There's all sorts of words that seem to go around that, so drill is one of them. And there's no obvious auto-tune here either. I know that auto-tune has got good enough that you don't necessarily spot it, but that's fine. I'm not actually opposed to people using auto-tune. I'm opposed to the heavily overdone auto-tune sound that is used so commonly at the moment. So actually, I enjoyed it musically. There were nice feels to the tracks. It was fairly inventive musically. At times, it reminded me of kind of some 80s art pop, maybe bits of it that reminded me of later Eurythmics kind of stuff. Right, so let's get on to the voice. So he's got a really nice feminine voice. I'm struggling a little bit, I have to confess, between the fact that he definitely has a feminine voice, but definitely goes by this male pronoun. So kind of putting those two things together kind of does my head in a little bit. That's okay. It's soft and clear and expressive. There's quite a lot of different tonalities that he's able to use, kind of stronger or lighter. And it's just, the word sweet comes to mind. Not in a kind of saccharine way, but just it's just a nice, clear voice. Some of the words are in French and some of them are in English. Some of them are hard to make out even when they're in English, and some of them I couldn't tell which language it was in. I think that's more to do with accenting than it being low in the mix. And yeah, it's nicely done. There was a thought in my head that it kind of reminded me of Joe Taxi by Vanessa Paradis, and I went and listened to Joe Taxi to see if that comparison was good. And actually, when I listened to it, I felt like it didn't. I think it was just the Frenchness that had made a connection in my head. But yeah, good female voice, definitely. Themes of not belonging and identity, but some other stuff too. But I have to say, mostly wasn't able to pick out a lot in the words, so I didn't pick up on much on what the songs were actually about. But musically, it was where my enjoyment was, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good album, and this is good, and I think there's more Christine and the Queens to come later on in the list, so I'm looking forward to that. So that's what I think. I'd love to know what you think, so please do talk to me, and that's it from me for now.
Je commence le livre par la fin et j'ai le menton haut pour rien. Mon œil qui pleure, c'est à cause du vent. Mes absences, c'est du sentiment.